So many months, so many months. What's going on, JMP? I mean, this hand could be literally anything, right? I don't even know what this hand looks like. Hex was good. Archives up on YouTube. Retainer format's always been okay. I'm really looking forward to playing some Immortal though. I mostly just want to play enough standard to get one of those battle boards. Gotcha. All right, so 16. I get to go Shock, Thoughtseize, and then next turn I get to go Fetch, Shock, play 2 4/4s. Excellent, excellent. What a... Oh, okay, isn't this adorable? This is like Totes Adorbs. They're gonna like do some storm stuff. I'm gonna put 8 power into play on turn 2. Welcome to Thunderdome. Hey, Idol, here's to a year of questionable use of Amazon Fun Buddy. Thanks for the 12 months, Idol. I appreciate that. This remand is busto. I don't know how we're ever gonna beat that. Oh geez, and we get to go Fetch, Shock, Inquisition you next turn too. This is unreasonable. Hey, Ninja Bob with the brand new Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for that. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. How you doing, opponent? How you doing? We just have to be careful not to get, like, natural grape shotted out of the game. They're dead in, like, 2 here, right? Just, like, crack a fetch and make these 5/5s. They made blue. Weird. What's going on, Nivik? What you got over there, huh? What kind of cards did you draw? Oh, Desperate Ritual. That's aptly named. Ayo! Seth Sun Valo. Yo, Jeff, I was watching your Ball Lightning Tribal VOD and I was thinking Combat Celebrant is probably better than Primal Force Mage in that deck because it's 20 damage. That's kind of hot. Yeah, that sounds sweet, actually. That sounds sweet. I'm gonna fetch a basic Swamp here. Cast the Tarmogoyf. I don't want to go too low. Like I said, I don't think, like, you know, we got 14 power in play. We're attacking them to 10. Maybe I should go lower just so like all of these are lethal. Because I guess like a bounce spell gives them another turn now since I didn't shock this turn. I just like don't want to like accidentally die to like cantrips into a grape shot. Just got into MTG thanks to my college friend. Awesome. Well, thank you for the support. Glad you're enjoying the YouTube stuff. Welcome to a live one. The aptly named Desperate Ritual. All right, so we want the extra stubby D for sure. These Nihil Spellbombs are fine. I think Disdainful Stroke's actually a little bit too clunky for this matchup. Last Hope, obviously not very good. I think maybe these Abrupt Decays are bad too. Fatal Push is just a lot more efficient. I'll bring in 1 Brutality. Maybe both Brutalities are fine. I can see that going either way. You want some removal, but not a ton. To go down Apprentice. A lot of the times, the opponent's deck is going to turn into a deck that's going to try and kill us with Goblins post-board with Empty the Warrens. My advice is get out while you can. Let's go down Apprentice. Good morning. Life is swell. I don't think I care about Pyromancer Ascension too much. I think I just kill them through that. I think we're going to do some more Hearthstone later tonight, Apprentice. So I don't plan to do it right after the Magic stream today, but I think this evening after the kids go to bed, probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. Hostage Taker is for other creature-based matchups, I would assume. Matches where you want more removal. Generally speaking, Storm doesn't really play Blood Moon anymore. They often are playing a fetchless mana base, which doesn't enable them to play Blood Moon. Hex is great. They've made a lot of really good improvements. I actually played in one of their bash events over the weekend too, but I didn't stream that because streaming events that have wait times kind of sucks. So, a F Gator with the $5 donation. Forgot having an 8-week break from kids. Watching Hoagland live is the best part of summers off. Please add democracy to monitor. 10 out of 10 will do. 10 out of 10 will do. Yeah, it's artifact removal too, that's true. I have no idea. This is pushing Storm up because I need something to do with this money. Sounds good, Apprentice. I'll get that noted for later. I don't, is this keepable? We're on the draw. I guess it's kind of bad because we don't have a threat either, right? Yeah, I think the fact that we're light on lands and don't have a threat means I'm going to play catch and release here. This hand has lands, it's got some disruption, and it's got a scry, and it's got a Street Wraith, so we got a few different things going on here. I think if that first hand had like a second land or it had a threat, I probably would have risked it to keep, because like it had some good disruption in it. We just like need a way to actually kill our opponent. How has Hex improved? So they added what they're calling cosmic coins to their ladder, which is basically, it just gives you the ability to play their ladder for prizes even once you get into cosmic. So basically you can play constructed on demand for prizes now. And starting next week on June 4th, they are re-implementing something similar to leagues for their immortal format, their non-rotating format, which is good too. I think support for non-rotating formats is important, especially in a game that's a TCG instead of being able to dust cards. And I personally enjoy playing non-rotating formats more than I enjoy playing rotating formats. I'm going to use this stub kind of aggressively here. It makes my Tarmogoyf a little bit larger, a little bit faster, and just like kind of disrupts them a little bit. JAC is just Kai Ascendancy combo. I think that's my favorite meme in Modern right now. I'm gonna go ahead and jam this Tarmogoyf. There's a non-zero chance we like die next turn if they have a good hand, but I think I want to put this into play just to like get my clock good. It's easier to help people get into non-rotating formats too. Especially like, and I'm probably a little bit biased because of like all the modern stuff we play on this channel, but like it's much easier to like tell someone, hey, this game is sweet and you can pick up this deck and this deck will always be legal. Or this deck will be legal unless something gets banned from it. And like usually you know when decks are potentially banned. And Hex has a watch list, which is great. Watch lists are excellent. All right, what does this hand do? This hand, this hand doesn't do a whole lot, right? I'm gonna take the sleight of hand here. They're looking for a win condition basically, right? So I'm gonna fetch shock here and jam this Shadow into play. And then we don't have any more disruption here, so we just gotta run our opponent down here ideally. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them start cycling Manamorphose here, just to like try and find a win condition to end the game. Cause like we've got a lot of pressure in play now, so I think it's in their best interest to try and kill us. I have no idea, JMP. It's something Justin and Nivik are doing. I'm doing well, McKinnon. Good morning. Morning to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. Hang out, play some Modern today. For people that are Legacy fans and Vintage fans, we're going to do... Tomorrow's going to be all Legacy and Vintage, I think. We'll do a couple of leagues in the morning, and then we'll do a few leagues in the evening again, just like we did previously. Would you say... So... If you actually go back as far as the Pro Tour before we had the unbannings, I think these decks were actually better than Grixis Shadow as far back as the Pro Tour. Past in Flames flashes back, Bulgarian. So like if I wanted to actually take something, I'd be better off taking the Ritual rather than taking the... put Serum Vision, Manamorphose Serum Visions into their hand. Didn't Legacy have a watch list a million years ago? Yeah, I actually don't know, Rev. I haven't played that long. I only started playing with, I guess it's been a while. I started playing competitively with New Phyrexia, which is almost a decade now, but... Ooh. Okay, we're killing my stuff. We're killing my stuff. Okay, that makes sense. That makes me feel better. If they were sending these at my dome, that would be a little bit scary, but the fact that they're killing my stuff means they've got a whole lot of nothing going on. What is a watch list, actually? So, Hex... They have, it's basically, where is it? Watch and ban list. They have this thing here that it lists the banned cards in the format, and then it also lists cards that, like, these are the cards that are on our radar that could potentially be removed from the format should they look like they're posing problems in the format. Should I have shocked there? I was attacking them to 7. If I didn't shock, I'd still have lethals. Yeah, maybe shocking there was wrong, because it makes it easier for them to, like, bolt me plus natural grape shot me out of the game. How many legacy decks am I planning on getting through? Tomorrow, probably 4. Nivik donated for another vintage deck, so I think I plan to do 2 legacies in the morning, and then vintage plus 2 legacy in the evening. Nice Jade Kit. Any reasons why Wizards doesn't do something similar? I don't know, I assume because they don't want to. Someone tell Nivik that I'm still talking. Please and thank you. Yeah, whichever 4 have the most points, JMP. Whichever 4 have the most points, we'll play tomorrow. Alright, so you have a bounce spell or you're dead. I assume we're going to see an upkeep bounce here. Green unsubstantiate, gotcha. Resolves. Ooh, I found a piece of candy, chat. I found a piece of delicious candy. Oh, kill you. Oh, double strike. Oh. All right. Got him. Forgot we had that candy that good in our deck. Add this to red white painter. Sounds good. Thank you for the bits, JMP. So one thing I actually really like about this configuration is that we have this Ghor-Clan. So some of these decks play 3 Temur Battle Rages, but I really like the inclusion of Ghor-Clan Rampager in this deck, just because, like, Ghor-Clan Rampager is often the same text box as Temur Battle Rage, which reads kill your opponent, and Traverse the Ulvenwald lets us get Ghor-Clan Rampager, and to, like, top all of that off, we can also just, like, cast this as a threat when we don't have threats. Oh, and to Liliana the Last Hope, we can re-buy Ghor-Clan Rampager with Liliana, which is just A+ fantastic. The bingo cards are a hoot. That's great, the one. Welcome to a live one. Glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff. Yeah, I like a lot of the decisions that this 4-color shadow list made. What do you think about Traverse with no blue? I think not playing Stubborn Denial is kind of medium. I actually think we have a 4-color no blue list coming up later this week. Yeah, there's another, it might be next week. We'll see how many, we'll see how the points go. There's actually a 4-color no blue shadow list in the queue. It's currently 12th or 11th or something like that. Yeah, this hand's great, right? We got Traverse the Ulvenwald to find a land. If it wins any shot of white bear to get paid at night. You played at night. I mine democracy for you during the day. Yeah, 10 out of 10, JMP. I'll make a note. I'll make a note right now. Red white painter. Play in the evening. Alright, so Bauble actually helps enable Delirium a little bit. We're against humans here. Well, I mean, I'm kind of upfront about how the queue works. The queue does get larger. So, like, people are welcome to look at it and see and realize, like, you know, how long their deck's going to take to get played. The system is very straightforward. You either send in dollars or you wait days. If you send in the base amount, you're going to be waiting for a little bit. You know, fair's fair. Why is Death and Tax on the no-fly list? Because I hate the card Leonin Arbiter. Yeah, these double stubs is really bad against turn 1 Cavern Aether Vial. I mean, I don't plan to stop streaming anytime soon. So, like, the only way something would never get played if I stopped streaming. And if for some reason I had some type of life-changing event where, like, I needed to stop streaming, I would definitely announce that I was going to stop streaming and then stop taking donation deck lists so I could play through the ones that are in the queue. No, just modern. Modern Death and Taxes is hot garbage. I guess I'll take this Watery Grave on the off chance that these are going to be good enough. Meddling Mage, yep. You'll notice I baubled myself there. And the reason to bauble myself there is I get to kind of look and see if I wanted to draw this card. So, like, I didn't want another land, so I went ahead and shuffled that away before I drew. Oh, yeah, yep. We could maybe steal this game with a fast Death Shadow. Like, if we get, like, a Temur Battle Rage, perhaps. But this Dahlia is going to be a tough nut to crack for sure. Yeah, we're pretty dead. I'm going to go ahead and just move to the next one. Just, like, wrong half problem. It's going to happen with these mid-range interactive decks occasionally. Yeah, this deck's fairly aggressive, but sometimes you're still going to line up a little bit bad like that. Extra Collective Brutality seemed fine. Vryn's Prodigy seems really slow. Is this a Hostage Taker matchup? This is probably too much mana, right? What do we think? This is probably too much mana? I don't look at decks midstream. If you want to message me a deck in private to get my feedback on it. Oh, yeah, Radiant Flames. That's the nut. I got these Street Wraiths because they kill us a little bit quickly. I'm going to leave one Street Wraith and trim a Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I like that one. Let's do that. Yeah, that sounds great, right? This is not a Fulminator Mage matchup. You don't... I get that you are a member of Twitch chat and you want to Stone Rain everyone all of the time. But, you should not board in Stone Rain against the aggro deck. Overgrown Tomb here, since we already have green cards in our hand. Take a peek at what they've got going on. They mulligan to 6. Yeah, I actually registered a 63 card main deck at an invitational one time. This is just a pretty easy Thalia's Lieutenant, right? If we get a land here, we'll be in a very good spot because we get to Fatal Push plus Inquisition. That's unfortunate. I mean, more optimal for a larger number of decks. Those people are just, like, mathematically incorrect by and large. I registered a 63 card main deck because I had a 12 card sideboard. Because I was playing a toolbox deck, and honestly, it probably wasn't optimal, but it's not. It wasn't for 0 value. The last time we played it, Nivek, every time we play Taking Turns, it's just like this hot dumpster fire that doesn't do anything. Yes, Radiant Flames can hit 4 if they have Thalia out. That is correct. Gross. Okay, that's decent. So the last card is Restoration Angel, so this other Inquisition doesn't have a text box currently. I named Fatal Push. I guess I'm just going to slam this Tarmogoyf, right? Probably grab Blood Crypt here. I boarded out almost all my blue cards. I have like one Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, not only do you run into mana ratio issues if you're main decking 75 cards, but there's also cards in the sideboard that, like, you aren't super interested in having in other games. Come at me. Oh, right, this is Exalted. Tilt. Alright, I'm at 19. Am I just Abrupt Decaying this turn? I feel like I can't be. Am I? Yeah, I think I am. I guess I actually need to Abrupt Decay now, right? Because I know they have Restoration Angel in their hand. Or just like super dead if they hit another land. They get to Resto Blink the Thalia's Lieutenant. The one with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's helping me do what I do here. Sometimes our opponent kept a 1-lander this game. Yep, that's the beat sometimes. Opponent kept a 1-lander, scryed a non-land to the top, and then ran them right off. Them's the beat sometimes. Them's the beat sometimes. Humans is a very good deck. It's the best deck in the format for a reason. I don't think so. I don't think so. How do I put something in the queue? Details on how donation decks work are here. The one. If you have any questions on specifics, feel free to message me on Twitter or whisper me on Twitch. That's fine. Need some lands, but we've got a couple of redraws here. I don't even think a bad humans matchup is why the Shadow deck has fallen off. I've played this deck against humans. We've played this deck on stream a number of times, and I think the humans matchup is pretty close to even in my experience. I think a big part of why the Shadow deck has fallen off is because all of the try-hard spikes that play Modern have stopped playing it because humans has better matchups against the field. So, like, Shadow was really popular for a little while because it was the go-to try-hard deck for Modern. And now that it's no longer the go-to try-hard deck for Modern, the try-hards are playing something else. So, like, the only people left playing Shadow are basically people that really enjoy playing Shadow as an archetype. Kramer, I just play whatever's at the top of the queue. So, feel free to throw some blue-white control in there, and we will play it as soon as it comes up. So this is a pretty easy take Liliana, right? Because like the Liliana is just gonna like run away with the game on me otherwise, right? I guess I could take Bob, and then next turn I could go fetch, shock, shadow, push the second Bob. But then like the Liliana comes down on 3 and it just gets to edict me. Yeah, we still get to shadow push next turn. And then we get to start pressuring them. Mordid Super Squill. Enjoy your complimentary timeout. Ah, das memes. Alright, so we're gonna push this dork off a cliff. A fetch shock. We really want to draw another fetch land at this point, right? You can double queue on Magic Online, but I do not, because double queuing makes for really bad Magic content. Having someone flip back and forth during... Ooh, that was a mistake. I should have done this during their upkeep because of discard spells. So like, I'm going to draw a card here, and now I guess I should have fetched the blue source, so we drew Stubborn Denial. But now they're going to get to Inquisition me. They get to Inquisition plus Bob. They're probably taking a Shadow here, even though they're only 1/1s, because that lets me double spell next turn. Really, we took the Tarmogoyf. I wonder if they drew... No, we know their hand. Their hand is Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills right now. A fetch land is quite possibly the best draw there, because not only does it turn these into 4/4s, but it turns on my Stubborn Denial. Would you play even spell damage rogue in Hearthstone? Yeah, probably. You should message me a list. I need to, I'm probably gonna start being a little bit selective about Hearthstone lists because I'm not sure that I want to commit to crafting everything anymore. Like I put a bunch of money into Hearthstone and I still don't have a full standard set. So my I'll accept all standard list is gonna kind of hinge on like what cards it requires me to craft. What do you think of Torpor Orbs and modern sideboards right now? Merfolk Trickster. I think Torpor Orb is fine. I think Torpor Orb is pretty good against humans, which makes it like a fine card in general. Have I played any wild decks at this point? I had someone donate for Wild Mill Rogue. That Tarmogoyf is bigger than my board. Alright, so looking for a fetch land or a fatal push here. Temur Battle Rage. Welcome to Thunderdome. Yeah, the Mill Rogue deck was fine. I've liked most of the decks that we've played. Actually, if you look at the queue, the one I actually have, I don't think it's even rogue, but I have like a spell-based deck in the queue. So this is just lethal, right? I have like Stubby D to back this up. Yeah, and they know about the stub from the Inquisition. Alright, so this is a matchup where even though Temur Battle Rage just won that game there, we actually don't want Temur Battle Rage in this matchup. The opponent plays a lot of spot removal, so like losing your card to losing the thing that you're going in on to a piece of spot removal feels really terrible. I actually think Stubborn Denials. Yeah, the one, like I said, drop me a message with the deck code and I'll take a look and see if I have most of the stuff for it. It would be fine. Yeah, Painful Truth is sweet. I think I want to cut the Stubby D. Maybe trimming some number of Street Wraiths is fine in this matchup. Just because, like, the game's going to go long and that, like, the health cost is real. Leave, like, 2 stubs in. And a non-zero number of stubs seems fine here. Opponent does have a lot of spot removal. I don't think Collective Brutality is quite worth it. I definitely want the extra Fatal Push. I'm going to try. Let's try this. Let's try this. No, I think the Rampager is very good. I think the Rampager is a Temur Battle Rage style card that I can also just cast as a creature. So I think the Ghor-Clan... In fact, having a Ghor-Clan Rampager to keep it in matchups like this is one of the upsides to having it, I think. Morning Serpy. I think it's has a very real upside that's relevant. This hand needs a green source, but it's got a cycle in it, so... Mono blue Karntron. I think that's a archetype I haven't played before, so I can't really have an informed or educated opinion on it. Start by cycling this. Deal. And they took my discard spell here. So did they keep a 5-lander with a 7-card hand with 1 land in it? How obligated am I to take Fulminator Mage here? No, Tezzeret decks are fine. I mostly mean decks that don't have win conditions. Yes, the one that is correct. I will respond to messages after I'm all signed off for today, so it's going to be a little while. I have Fatal Push for Bob. I think it's the Inquisition or the Fulminator Mage here. I think it's probably just the Inquisition. They're like going to run off 2 lands in a row, and I'm not going to draw any lands. They're going to Fulminator me off my only land, but I think... Yes. Oh, Magic. Oh, Magic. I love when Magic players try to argue that Magic has less variance than Hearthstone because there aren't cards that have random printed on it. But never forget, the most random thing in every card game is the draw step that you take every turn. And we all shuffle these things that add a lot of random variance into our deck, into our Magic decks every single game. We call them lands. What's the best Bant deck in Modern? I mean, Humans is 5 color. Does that count as Bant? Does this Humans count as a Bant deck? Alright, good news. They didn't hit their 3rd land right away. God bless. God bless us, everyone. There aren't really any good Bant decks in Modern right now. What's going on, Kinklebiter? Morning. Alright, so they have Fulm, Tarmogoyf, Abrupt Decay. I assume we're just getting Stone Rained here. Like, our opponent kept a 1-lander with no cantrips on the play, and of course has 3 lands. We kept a 1-lander with cantrips on the draw, and of course we have 1 land and are getting Stone Rained. Have you played with Rexar before? The card is great. It is a lot of fun. I like, if you haven't spent time building beasts in Hearthstone, you need to spend a little bit of time doing it. It's quite excellent. That's true. We do have a 5-0 and a couple of 4-1s with Bant Super Friends, so it is naturally the best Bant deck in Modern. Not close. Alright, so they have Abrupt Decay for one of our dorks here. They didn't want to take 3 points of damage, so they got to cast another Death Shadow. It's fine. I'm not sure how to handle it, right? God bless us, everyone. Alright, so their last card's Abrupt Decay. This is getting Overgrown Tomb, and we're going to Fatal Push the crap out of this Dark Confidant. That was a risky click. Should have zoomed in there. Oh, would you look at that? My Death Shadows are bigger than your Tarmogoyf. Nice. Alright, now I get to attack them with these, and they can Abrupt Decay one of these, but then they're going to 11, so if they hit me on the backswing, they're going to take exactly 11. So we're dead to Bolt, and we're dead to Bloodbraid Elf here, but I think that was a good attack. Maybe they just drew another Trump blocker here. I like having another Tarmogoyf. Yeah. Land! I needed to be more specific, chat. I needed to be more specific. Needed to be more specific. Needed that sweet, sweet basic that game. Needed that sweet, sweet basic. Oh man. That wasn't bad considering like we drew pretty rancid, they drew pretty well. That's okay, like not amazing but fine. Hey, Pepperoni Chicken. Thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great content on Twitch right now, so thanks for supporting mine this month. Welcome. Grab an Overgrown Tomb here and Thoughtseize them. I guess our hand's not very good to play discard spells against, right? So I'm just gonna like take a Tarmogoyf here. Just like run them out of threats. Opponent's got Expeditions and Yu-Gi-Oh cards in their deck. You should be ashamed, opponent. Been binge watching you on YouTube for the last couple of months, and I'm pretty excited just to finally catch you live. Well, awesome. Glad you've been enjoying the YouTube stuff. Welcome to a live one. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go to 13 here. Is that a last hope or a veil? It's a veil. I guess I'm taking the Liliana here. I think the sub audio clip is only on one side. I've had someone else mention that before. I haven't cared enough to go fix it. Is this Goyf bigger than a 5/5? 4/5? I think it might be. Yeah, we have instant, sorcery, creature, land, planeswalker. So this Goyf's gonna be bigger than my Dismember. My voice, and that means your audio is probably messed up. My voice should definitely be in stereo. I'm gonna fetch a red source tapped here. I'll probably take a hit from this, so I can't really afford to. It's probably too little too late. I guess this pulls a piece of removal out of their hand. Can Dismember the Scavenging Ooze. Then we can draw a Shadow or a Goyf of our own next turn to like get in the way here. The Goyf attack puts us to 3. The Dismember puts us to 1. And we have a few live draws. This kind of petered out with nothing to do this game. I don't think we could mulligan that opening hand against a deck full of discard spells. Oh, second Goyf. Very dead. So I feel like we got pretty unlucky to lose that second game, but this third game there just wasn't a whole lot going on. They just had enough interaction to like kind of poke through our own interaction. Thanks, Kingdom. That's one advantage of me not having music to supplement my content. I feel like a lot of streamers just like don't feel the need to talk because they have music playing in the background, and not having music playing means that I need to fill every second with content, potentially. You did it. You convinced me to build Eldrazi Evolution on Magic. Excited to run it out. Did Viridian Emissary instead of EE because I can't afford the E. What does Viridian Emissary do? Is that the Dye's Rampant Growth? You should get some Ratchet Bomb, Straven. Ratchet Bomb's a much better budget EE. That's true. That's true. Now I'm doing this full time, we definitely have less background noise. I mean, this hand's a keep. What is a Portillo's? It is a hot dog and food place that originated out of the Chicagoland area. Yeah, I made a few changes from my last list. I put some wet balls in the board. What else did I change? I added a Sahali to the sideboard. That's a lot of cards I don't want to play against. That's a lot of cards I don't want to play against. I guess it's just Smallpox here, right? You've inspired me to play Tracker over Bobs and Jund, and it's been great. Do you think it's too greedy? No, I think 2 Blood Braids with your Trackers is probably the appropriate number. Second Liliana. All right, I guess I'm taking the Wrench Mind then. Yeah, in my experience, the 8-rack deck doesn't create particularly interesting gameplay in either direction. Like, it's pretty boring to play with. It's pretty boring to play against. Just like nobody gets to make many meaningful decisions. Oh, they didn't play the Urborg. It's like, why can't I tap this for black yet? So, I'm gonna shove in Tarmogoyf here. Probably want blue, so that way I can cast Stubborn Denial if we draw it. No, I think because I didn't have a land, I needed to be able to Bauble to draw a card. Like, if I hadn't Bauble, I wouldn't have been able to play my Tarmogoyf this turn. Do I want more lands in my hand? I think I'm going to hold that to discard. This Dismember also doesn't really have a text box in this matchup either, though. That sucks. We're going to lose our Abrupt Decay, which means we don't have a way to interact with this Ensnaring Bridge. $15-hour drive worth. All right, so I mean, I get to actually take this Jace Vryn's Prodigy here. This is actually an instance where the Jace VP is better than, like, this is better than a what's it called would be here, right? Although I guess they get to Edict me and then play second Liliana and Edict me again. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Yep. They didn't plus the Liliana, they must have a card that they want. Weird. Weird. Why wouldn't you just play the Urborg and plus the Liliana? You have like 2 draw steps to find a Traverse or an Abrupt Decay. I have a bunch of Ancient Grudges on our sideboard. It's probably not too bad post-board matchup. So need to hit something this turn. And people that have been on the stream before, you know my feelings on discard spells. I think discard spells are just like really terrible game design. They just like remove decisions on both sides of the table. So like when you take a deck and like stack it full of nothing but discard spells, you like remove almost all decisions your opponent gets to make. I think TCGs are most interesting when both players get to make a lot of choices. So when you remove all the decisions one player gets to make, it's fairly uninteresting in my opinion. Collective Brutality is like okay here. It's like less bad than some of these other things. I think I'm just clicking submit. Is Fulminator Mage worth playing? Oh, Grudge, right? We want to kill the bridges. Brutality's not good. I'm going to trim an Inquisition here too. Definitely want the Grudges. Look at that. Chat's such a competitive advantage. God bless you. These Battle Rages are probably pretty rancid. Let's trim one of those. Yep, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a reason why I should have chose to go second That was a mistake. You should always choose to draw against Ponza. I mean, like, when I talk about dog poop smelling bad, people think that. Some people think dog poop smells good, too. Yeah, I mean, Snapcaster Mage is the card I want to draw. Yeah, like I said, I think a big part of why we think discard spells are like so okay in Modern is because like there's so many more degenerate things that they're stopping from happening. My opinions are purely subjective. You're right. That's why I always try to talk about them from I usually prefix them with they are subjective. I usually talk about why they are subjective and how. I talk about I don't like the opponent's archetype from the standpoint of it creates non-games by removing decisions from the opponent. So that actually gives me delirium, right? So we can fetch shock and play this Death Shadow now. Yeah, I should crack on their upkeep. Just like 2 extra clicks for like marginal advantage. This is smallpox. Alright, we're done here. Smallpox is very good against these Death Shadow style decks. The low threat density decks, the 8-rat deck is very good against because you just don't have a way to power through what they're doing. Gitaxian Probe Therapy. Yep, Gitaxian Probe Therapy is quite rancid. Traverse Shadow. Thoughts on Traverse Shadow? Yeah. I think there's a reason why this deck kind of fell off the map. I think the power level of this deck really isn't quite there. I think the low threat density makes it pretty medium against decks like the 8-rack that we just played against, and against decks like Jeskai Control, and we also lost to Jund as well. And I think those matchups are bad for this archetype on average. Like, this deck really excels when spell-based combo decks are very good in the format, and the prevalence of humans in Modern has really pushed a lot of the spell-based combo decks out of the format. So this archetype doesn't really have decks that it can really prey on efficiently because a lot of those decks have been pushed out of the format. It doesn't give both players choices, Mangoody. So I agree, discard spells give the person casting the discard spell decisions to make. But what discard spells don't do is they don't give both players decisions to make. A good example of interactive cards that give both players decisions to make are counter spells. Counter spells, I think, are great from a game design standpoint because when my opponent passes with mana up, I get to read my opponent and think about what counter spells they could have, and then I get to make a decision on how I want to sequence my cards into their potential counter spells. So my opponent gets to make the decision to leave up their disruption, and then I, as the other player, get to make decisions on how I sequence my things into the interaction that they're leaving up. So I think that creates good game design space because it encourages both players to be making choices. And that's why I play games, right? Like I don't really enjoy playing games where like I just do all my stuff and then they do all their stuff. Like, why are we even playing a game together, right? Like, should I just play like a single player video game if I want to do that? And I'm not arguing about discard spells being good or bad or necessary for Thorin. In fact, there's so many obnoxious things in Modern, you could definitely argue that discard spells are like necessary to keep some of the obnoxious degenerate things that happen in Modern from happening. It's just, again, my point is that I don't think from a game design perspective, they create interesting interactive gameplay where both players get to make decisions. I think from a game design perspective, I want both players to be able to make meaningful decisions. And I think discard spells do not allow both players to make meaningful decisions. They explicitly deny the second player from making meaningful decisions. How many democracy points for you to overnight me $80 in Portillo sandwich? What's going on, Borosith? I didn't mean to gift you bits until June 18th, but I felt bad for beating you with 8 rack. What's going on, Loki? Yeah, that matchup's pretty bad for the Traverse Shadow deck. I think Smallpox is a reasonable card. Yeah, Smallpox is a card that lets your opponent make decisions. That type of card is good. Have I ever considered being a game designer? Nope. I think I have zero desire to relocate to design video games. I think there's a lot of excellent game designers in the industry, and they don't really need me. I have a good time playing games. I don't need to make them as well. I think I can be critical and understand the process that goes into game design without doing it professionally. Yeah, exactly. Like the prevalence of discard spells, like we talk about that on this stream constantly, especially in Modern, where discard spells are really prevalent, right? Like when you're playing against a deck with discard spells, you're disincentivized, whatever that word is. You're discouraged from taking mulligans, so you're actively discouraged from making choices and trying to have a better opening hand, because the discard spell is just going to pick apart your hand. And like, you know, to kind of go back to Hearthstone for a minute, like there's a reason why Hearthstone explicitly doesn't have cards that pick apart your opponent's hands in them. Yeah, that too, Revenge. Like the amount of money that a lot of people can make doesn't sound worthwhile. I will make a note about, I'm gonna clip the discard spell game design rant. What time was that? That was about 46 minutes in. Disincentivize. I think that's right. Let's grab some cards for this sweet green-white Eldrazi Evolution deck. So Hoagland grinds my gears podcast. It's just tough for me to like make time for new types of content, just because like the existing content's making an okay amount of money. So like it's like the Hearthstone stream I did for a little bit, right? Like every time I stream something else, like it's an opportunity cost, because I could be spending that time growing my Magic content that I'm streaming.